It's strange how one simple act of kindness can echo louder than the noisiest engines, reaching hearts far beyond what the giver ever imagined. This is the story of an ordinary man, a small-town mechanic, who never chased fame or fortune, only peace, honesty, and a life well lived. But one morning, an unexpected knock at his garage door would change his life forever. It all began in the heart of a sleepy American town, where everyone knew each other by name, and nothing extraordinary ever seemed to happen. The locals often drove past an old, worn-out garage at the corner of Maple Street. It wasn't flashy, and the sign above it had long lost its shine. But the man who worked there, Jack Turner, had hands of gold and a heart even richer. Jack was the kind of man whose life had quietly slipped into routine. Wake up early, open the garage, fix a few engines, drink his coffee black, and close shop before the sun touched the horizon. He lived alone, no kids, no wife, just his tools and the lingering memories of a world he had once believed to be more kind. But all of that changed one gray November morning. While Jack was tightening the bolts on an old pickup, he heard hesitant footsteps approaching his garage door. When he looked up, he saw a boy, maybe 9 or 10 years old, standing there with an awkward but hopeful smile. The child's clothes were worn and too big for his small frame. But what caught Jack's attention wasn't the tattered jeans or oversized sweater, it was the crude wooden stick strapped awkwardly to where his right leg should have been. "Hi, mister, do you fix more than cars?" the boy asked, his voice shaking between fear and hope. Jack wiped his hands on his oily rag and walked over, kneeling to meet the boy's eyes. "Well, that depends. What do you need fixing, kid?" The boy looked down at his leg, a crooked, splintering piece of wood tied on with frayed cloth. Jack's chest tightened as the boy explained his story. His name was Ethan. A car accident had taken his leg 2 years ago. His single mother, working 2 minimum-wage jobs, could barely afford food, let alone a prosthetic. The family had fallen through the cracks of the system, with promises of help fading as the months went by. But Ethan had dreams. He wanted to run again, to play soccer like the other kids, to feel normal for once. Jack wasn't a rich man. His own life had been a story of quiet losses, a wife lost to cancer, parents buried young, friends moved away or passed on. But when he looked at Ethan, he saw a reflection of his own pain, and something inside him refused to let the boy walk away disappointed. Without thinking twice, Jack told him, "Leave the leg to me, kid." Over the next week, Jack worked after hours, carving, sanding, and shaping wood like it was the most important project of his life. His hands, used to greasy engines and iron bolts, learned the art of delicate craftsmanship. He studied online tutorials at night, sketched blueprints between oil changes, and used every bit of patience and precision he had. The neighbors noticed his garage light glowing deep into the night, but nobody knew what Jack was building. Finally, after 7 long days, Jack presented Ethan with his creation, a custom wooden leg, carefully measured and shaped, with leather straps for comfort and adjustable joints for growth. It wasn't a high-tech prosthetic, but it was strong, functional, and built with love. When Ethan first slipped the leg on and stood up, properly, balanced, steady, his face lit up with an emotion Jack hadn't seen in a long time. Tears rolled down the boy's cheeks, and for a moment, neither of them said a word. But the story didn't end there. A few mornings later, as Jack was sweeping sawdust from the garage floor, he heard the deep rumble of engines, not 1, not 2, but 4 black SUVs pulling up outside his garage, all at once. Jack froze, wiping his hands on his pants, confused and a little alarmed. The doors swung open, and out stepped 4 sharply dressed men, along with a woman holding a familiar small hand. It was Ethan, beaming brighter than ever. One of the men, introducing himself as David, was a representative from a non-profit organization for disabled children. Unbeknownst to Jack, Ethan had written a letter to them, not asking for help, but telling them about the man who made him a new leg, just because he cared. David explained that the letter had gone viral on social media, shared thousands of times across the country. Jack's simple act had touched more hearts than he could ever imagine. But they weren't just there to say thanks. The organization had decided to fully fund Ethan's medical expenses, a proper prosthetic, therapy, schooling, and, beyond that, they wanted Jack to partner with them to create affordable prosthetics for other children in need. They believed the world needed more people like him. His garage, once just a place for broken cars, would now become a place for healing broken lives. Jack, a man who had spent years thinking his life was small and his days meaningless, stood there humbled and overwhelmed. His hands, calloused and scarred, were shaking as he accepted the offer. Ethan ran up to him, wrapping his arms around Jack's waist. "You didn't just fix my leg, Mr. Jack. You fixed my world." And in that quiet moment, surrounded by strangers who now felt like family, Jack realized that sometimes the smallest acts ripple the furthest. You don't have to be rich, famous, or powerful to change someone's life. All it takes is one moment of kindness, one decision to care, one hand extended, even if it's calloused, even if it's tired. So, the next time you think your small good deed doesn't matter, remember Jack the mechanic. Because one morning, all he did was open his garage door, but what he really opened was a new chapter of hope, not just for one child, but for many more to come. Kindness is the only investment that always pays back, often when you least expect it. And sometimes, the real mechanic isn't the one who fixes engines, it's the one who fixes hearts.